What is your American dream?
My American dream is that we abolish borders and we get back to land borders and understanding our mountains and ranges and rivers, our watersheds, and really connect with the thing that gives us life, which is planet Earth.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. It's Wacky Thursday. Welcome, everybody. It's Brad Show Live. Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias. How are you as well?
Feeling great, because we're here.
Looking good. Looking good. Oh, my mic is on.
I could have sworn I did. Well,
there you are.
maybe I was so excited. I was like, oh, can't wait.
I like the sweater.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was giving you compliments on that ahead of time.
This was my friend's line.
Yeah.
Yes, I love this sweater.
Yeah. And Yo-Yo was just showing me the video of Mike Tyson. We'll talk about it next week.
Right. Did you guys hear about Mike Tyson?
That was crazy.
We're going to have to talk about that.
That's a next week conversation.
Yes. Tea time.
All right, let's say hello to the squad. Joan Ambitious Powell, squad up. Carol Anderson, the Tiger, squad up, everybody. Vitalis Osugwu, squad up. Lisa Bling, how are you? Now everyone's gonna say, "What do you mean, Mike Tyson?" But I'm sure people tell in the comment section.
Yeah.
Dawn Harriet, squad up. How are you, baby gal Thompson? Hey, squad. Hope you're doing okay. Hey, Brad. Thanks for another informative show. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Jewel Delph, squad up. Lisa Bling with a bunch of thumbs up. Dawn Harriet Kavar, squad up. Marie Maxwell, squad up as well. It's Apple Pie, joining us from the beginning of the show.
Hey.
How are you? Sometimes Marv. Not just Marv. Marv.
You say Marv just like Joe Pesci in Home Alone. Stop it, Marv!
That's because I have my New York accent. Marv. Now stop it, Marv, with your questions. He has a question already. Marv saying, hello, Brad. If someone's seeking asylum from Jamaica, can they withdraw their asylum and gain status through a marriage? Of course you can. You can, if you enter the United States and you made a legal entry, withdraw your asylum and file the adjustment. Absolutely. All day long you can do that. Let's see, who else? Dawn Harriet. We did not hear about him. Well, we'll go Google it, but we'll talk about it next week.
Somebody came out after and said that was crazy what happened.
Yeah. Jessica Kalimi. Brad skipped my name?
Uh-oh.
I'm in trouble if I skip her name.
Oh, no, we can't do that.
I didn't skip her name. Who else we got here? That's about it. It just happened right before, I think, sometime. It just showed up sometime on the news in the last hour or two.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it next week.
Hey, Dawn Harriet is funny.
What?
Had commented under Jessica Kalimi when she said, Brad skipped my name. Don said, and him called mine twice. Coming for you.
Listen, it's really not a competition of how many times I call your name.
I don't know. It might be.
But maybe it is. Daryl Winnebaugh, squad up. Top Cat Tigress 2, Carol. She is double fisting. Susie Q, how are you? Westman, squad up. Denise Johnson. Jessica Kalimi Joelle,
double fisting.
Called her name twice, too, now. Nakisha Ed saying hello to everybody. Onid, Loxen up. Hello, Attorney Brad. Good day. Who else we got here? Nid Laxenup has a question.
Okay.
Hello, Attorney Brad. This is after he told me to have a good day.
Okay.
I have a question. USCIS respond on my inquiry. It says that the I-130 spouse processing on hold because of security check, and they don't know when they're going to complete the check. My priority date is August 21st, 2020. That's not a question, that's a statement, but you probably want to know what's up with that. They use security check as a catch-all for every possible reason why they don't want to approve your case. Could sometimes be security checks. It could be review of records. But that's their excuse every time there's a delay. Security check. Now, your adjustment application was filed August 21st, 2020. The question becomes, when was the last thing that immigration did? When was your interview? And did you get an RFE after? If 1 year from the last thing they did, either the interview or an RFE or whatever you got, happened and still no response, well, then I say, the hell with the security check. You do a mandamus at that point. All right, because they can't hold your case forever. All right, Yo-Yo, take it away.
Absolutely. All right, squad, you already know what time it is. I need you guys all to throw in all your questions in the comment section right now. I already see some of these in the comment section right now, so we can guarantee that you will get your questions answered, okay? But we can't do that. We can't guarantee that if you guys put it in later. So throw in all your questions right now. We're going to throw them all in a document. I'm going to ask them for you during social media check-in. Now, we also want you guys to please share this to anyone that you think might need help or just need a new family. The squad, we are always open. The arms are always open. So make sure you guys let them know by sharing as well, because we're about to start schmoozing with Brad, talking headlines, including a new report that exposes how ICE has been obtaining information on deportation targets in sanctuary cities. And
Public service announcement. A very mature Carol Anderson the Tiger, and I say mature not because of age, but just a mature comment, saying, I don't care if Brad calls my name or not. I'm just so happy I can join and listen to all the news and the stories. Now, isn't that taking the high road?
That is a beautiful...
That's taking the high road, Carol the Tiger. There you go. Go ahead, Yo-Yo.
Absolutely. Right. All right, and of course, today is Thursday, so that means we're going to span the globe for some wacky news, like a UK professor who has had to walk back to his proposal of what the Loch Ness Monster actually is. And if this is what I saw, I've seen something about this in the news a couple of days ago. I don't know if it's the same one, but if it's the same one, this belongs in Hump Day News. But I don't know. We'll see. We will find out. We will see. I'm looking forward to that one.
And by the way, I also like it when you remind me to call out your name. Makes me feel good too.
Yes,
so I like it both ways. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Get you in check sometimes. The squad is good for that.
All right. By the way, there's a telephone number you see scrolling at the bottom of the screen there, right, Jonathan?
Yep.
Invariably, somebody's going to leave a comment somewhere in the middle of the show.
How do
I call Brad? It's right there. It's scrolling all the way at the bottom the entire time. 1-800-529-5465. That's the number to call to get on our show. It's also the telephone number to call. Law offices of Spar and Bernstein. It's Thursday. We always have open lines Thursday. A little less viewership always in the beginning on Thursday. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on Thursdays. But you can call right now, and there's still open lines. Usually we're locked and loaded by now, but we're not. So if you want to call and get your immigration questions, you can call right now, 1-800-529-5465. We'll be answering those questions in about 20-25 minutes or so. And later in the show, we're going to hear the last part of my conversation with Tara Roberts. She's the host and executive producer of the National Geographic Podcast, Into the Depths, which documents black divers and marine archaeologists searching for slave trade shipwrecks in order to preserve the history of the African diaspora.
All right.
You ready, Schmooze?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas, they began a 2-day summit in Panama with the President Laurentino Cortizo, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, and officials from more than 20 countries, and the reason is for immigration, because Panama has become a transit point for migrants seeking to come to the United States. So Blinken has called for more regional cooperation on migrants and refugees. And you know what that really means?
What?
What do you think that means, more regional cooperation? It means the United States wants Panama and all these other countries to stop people from coming to the border. So when they say they want more cooperation, that's political double talk for, I want you to stop the people before they come to us.
Right.
So on Tuesday, Blinken said the United States and Panama signed an arrangement aimed at increasing. Here's some more political talk, yo.
Okay.
So increasing some bilateral cooperation to help stabilize communities that are hosting migrants and refugees. Basically, they signed an agreement that says, Panama, stop the people from coming.
Yeah.
That was the agreement. Now, Blinken said this is the second agreement he's made. He made one with Costa Rica. So why do you think Panama is going to want to try to stop people from coming to the United States or migrating through Panama, whether they're coming from other countries migrating north? Why do you think, Jonathan, they would do such a thing?
I mean, that means that they have to have something in it for them,
There's
right?
got to be in it for them, right?
Right.
You know what's in it for them?
What would it be? I don't...
Moolah. The United States is paying Panama $1.2 billion.
To do this?
Well, I don't know what they're supposed to do with this one. It's $1.2 billion. Here's more political talk.
Oh, wow.
$1.2 billion in assistance.
In assistance.
In assistance. Right, in assistance. Where do you think $1.2 billion would end up? It's not just Central. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not just Panama. It's all of Central America.
I feel like it's going to go to the wrong hands, though. It's going to go to leaders. That's what I think.
But basically, here's some money.
So that's their
thing. That's what's going on there. And and by the way, at a press conference in Panama yesterday, Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas said this about Cuba. You know, Cuba is the second largest group of people entering the country without inspection in all of the world. It's the number 2 more people, second only, I believe, to I don't know what the first is, but I know Cuba's number 2. Second largest group, maybe Mexicans may be the first. So at a press conference in Panama yesterday, Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas said, "We have had had migration accords with the country of Cuba for many, many years. They were discontinued, and we're now going to explore the possibility of resuming that." I love all of this political double talk, right?
Right.
He says, "This is a reflection of our commitment to legal, orderly, and humane pathways, so individuals, including Cubans, would not take, for example, to the seas, which is an extraordinary, perilous journey." U.S. officials said they have seen a significant increase in irregular and undocumented Cuban migrants headed to the United States. So what does that mean in political talk? They're going to open up the U.S. Embassy in Cuba and issue some more visas to people so people don't have to hit the high seas, risk their life.
Like that picture right there, like whenever we talk about them hitting the seas, I'm kind of like, okay, but then that picture that we had just shown, this right here, this is what they're taking.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
That's like something you would put in a pool.
Yeah.
Right? Literally in a pool.
Not even that, because look, it's barely even floating.
Yeah. Like
that's
in a pool.
Crazy. So now I really understand.
You risk your life.
Yeah.
Right. But it's all, I love the political talk. That's what makes me laugh.
Is, right.
You know, we've had migration accords with the country of Cuba for many, many years. They were discontinued. We'll explore the possibility of resuming that. Like what? Basically means that we're going to open up the U.S. Embassy and give some more visas.
Yeah.
Right. That's what they're going to do there. All right, and by the way, it came out through a Freedom of Information Act request that over the last decade, a growing number of American cities and states that have restricted the information local law enforcement departments are exchanging with immigration because of being a sanctuary city has been that ICE has found a loophole to get that information about people who are in detention. Now, what sanctuary cities are is that 2 things, Jonathan.
Okay.
Because we don't want this to, because the article or what's coming out in the news is saying that these sanctuary cities don't do anything with ICE. ICE had to now go hire private companies to give them information about people who have committed crimes in sanctuary cities and try to arrest them for deportation. A sanctuary city, the purpose of the sanctuary city is this. We don't want people in sanctuary cities, don't want people who are out of status to be scared to use government services. For example, a government service that you would want to use is 911. There's a fire. We want to call in a fire before the whole block burns down. Well, if you're undocumented and you're scared you're going to call 911 to report a fire, that you're going to come and get arrested by ICE, you're not going to want to do that. It's the same thing with calling the police. You know, if you witness a crime, the police want you to contact them. Mm-hmm. Another thing with sanctuary cities is that a lot of immigrants have been in the United States for long periods of time. Sometimes people have a bad night. Sometimes they get a bad night. They get into a fight with a relative.
Right.
They get a DUI. That, because you have a bad night, doesn't mean you should now be thrown out of the country for the rest of your life and be separate your family from yourself.
I agree.
So what they do in sanctuary cities is people who are arrested for minor offenses, misdemeanors, small offenses, they're not calling ICE on them. People who are arrested for serious felonies, violent crimes,
those are the ones.
Those are the ones. There's, even in a sanctuary city, you're still getting, ICE is getting called in. But what ICE has been doing now is, because on these minor offenses, they have now hired private companies who give them information about people who are arrested for minor offenses, and are now finding these people, looking for them for deportation, even though the jurisdiction where the person was arrested is not coordinating with ICE. For example, in Colorado, they passed a version of the sanctuary law in 2019. All the laws are a little different state by state, but generally that's what it is. Okay? Your government's not going to call immigration on you if you call for a government service, and the government's not going to call immigration on you if you get arrested for a small petty offense. Now, before Colorado passed its version of a sanctuary law in 2019, local law enforcement regularly shared information like probation schedules with ICE, or granted requests to hold migrants the federal agency was interested in. And getting picked up by ICE in the middle of probation appointments was not uncommon. I had that happen as in my practice of law all the time. Clients, I would always advise clients, hey, you're going to your probation. You may not walk out of that probation appointment. Right. ICE might be waiting there for you. And usually it was at the end of probation they would always call ICE.
Wow.
Now, after the law was passed in Colorado, the share of detainer requests, that's when local law enforcement holds somebody to hand them over to ICE. They were refused by Colorado before the law 19% of the time, but by 2020, almost 30% of the time. So now, ICE is using private companies like LexisNexis, which is what we use at our law firm.
Yeah.
They're basically used by lawyers at big law libraries and databases. They're paying LexisNexis $17 million for real-time access to every court case and criminal case in every jurisdiction.
Oh, wow.
Because that's what LexisNexis does. It tells you what court cases are up. Mm-hmm. So when somebody comes and says, hey, I got a court case, we look it up in LexisNexis or Westlaw or one of those other things. Now, we don't pay them $17 million. I don't know why the government's paying them $17 million. A lot.
Yeah.
But that's what they're doing right now. So even though, the point being is that even though you're in a sanctuary city and the local law enforcement is not sharing that information with ICE, doesn't mean ICE doesn't know about it. That's the point of the whole thing. And by the way, it's Earth Day tomorrow. Did you know that?
Nope.
Isn't it coincidental that 420 and Earth Day is in the same week? Do you find that, is that any coincidental thing?
I don't think so. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Is there any correlation between 420 and Earth Day?
Nature.
Nature, right? That's what I said. There's somewhere there's a correlation.
They both come from the ground. Earth,
yeah, right. It's right. They don't say granola for nothing,
there
right?
You go.
So just in time for Earth Day 2022, which is tomorrow, a report released today by the American Lung Association, and this is actually surprising, that the United States saw the highest number of unhealthy and hazardous air quality days between 2018 and 2020 than ever before.
Why
now,
is that
how
surprising?
could that even be? You want to know why I find that?
Why?
Because we were closed for over a year. Everybody was sitting home in their homes. Nobody was driving.
From 2018.
Nobody was driving. Nobody was doing anything. But
like Jill said, the Amazon packages, everybody was ordering stuff.
Well, the theory is that Jill said in our ear is that it was Amazon. Jeff Bezos
I would
polluting the environment.
I would believe that
because there was a 23-year decline up until the last 2 or 3 years. And also,
I am I am surprised about that, because especially I know my neighborhood in just in California, you know, a lot of people are starting to use like more smart cars, and you know, everybody's going through like that, you know, save the environment type of thing, like changing their house, you know, with energy and stuff like that.
In California, they're doing this.
Yeah, they're doing this in California.
But would you be surprised that California is the most polluted state?
I would not be surprised.
Would you be?
I grew up with smog, so.
Yeah. Would you be surprised that the cities that were the most polluted by year-round particle pollution were all in California?
No, I wouldn't be.
Bakersfield topped the list.
Yeah.
Followed by Fresno.
Yeah.
Followed by San Jose, San Francisco, Oakland. Mm-hmm. And about 20 million people live in this area. Yeah. And the worst 5 areas for short-term particle pollution was also Fresno, Bakersfield, Fairbanks, Alaska. That's crazy. Yeah. And then also followed by 2 other California areas, San Jose, San Francisco, and Reading, Red Bluff. Where's Reading, Red Bluff?
It's probably all like a Northern California.
Why? I wonder why Northern California is worse.
Well, I mean, Fresno and Bakersfield, all those are like mid-California. So like, if you go there, you don't really see a lot of like, you don't see tall buildings and stuff like that. It's a lot of open land. So they have a lot of factories and stuff like that out there. Because I have cousins that are from Fresno. So I remember it's never like a huge city. So they'll have factories and stuff. So I grew up literally thinking that the sky is supposed to look like smog.
And also after a 23-year decline, it's also interesting that pollution went up during the years of the Trump presidency. Coincidence or no?
No, that's not a coincidence.
137 million Americans live in counties with unhealthy air. People of color were disproportionately affected by pollution. 61% of people of color are more likely than white people to live in a county with a failing grade for at least one form of pollution.
Yeah.
And by the way, ozone, also bad. The worst cities for ozone: Los Angeles, Long Beach, Bakersfield, Fresno, and Phoenix, Arizona.
Well.
Sorry,
guys.
And it's wildfire season, Jonathan.
Oh gosh, that's all in California too.
We're going to start seeing. Remember those pictures where it looked like a
like hell.
Like hell. Remember that from like 2 years ago?
Scary.
We're going to start seeing them all over again very soon.
Why?
Because it's wildfire season. That's what happens now. There's now 11 large wildfires burning across the Southwest and Southern Plains, including what's called the Tunnel Fire near Flagstaff, Arizona. 19,000 acres of land are burning right now in near Flagstaff, Arizona. Today, 8 million people in the United States are under fire alerts, including in New Mexico, Western Texas, Nebraska, Wyoming. And why? Dry conditions, low humidity, gusty winds, near record-setting high temperatures, and extraordinary pollution.
Yes.
Combination of all of that. It's like a good soup or a good salad.
But it's not.
But that's what happens.
Yeah. That's always scary for us because we live in a neighborhood where our whole neighborhood burnt down in like 2017, I think. So I don't like hearing about that.
And by the way, where we are right now, where our office is in downtown Manhattan, we're below sea level. We get, there's a big storm that hits New York City. All of lower Manhattan gets flooded out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, where you are up in Harlem, you're okay. You're on top of the hill.
Oh, so that's why, like, whenever there's flood in New York, like, it'd be flooding over here. But, like, in Harlem, we walking around, it's like, it's just a little bit of rain.
Yeah, Don't you ever notice that as you get into the Upper East Side and you start walking into the 80s and 90s, you start walking uphill?
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't get flooded out.
Yeah, you're on top of the hill looking down, saying, "Hey, you guys downtown by the studio and Bernstein office,
right?
Put on your galoshes."
Yeah, right.
And by the way, the death toll. Talking about floods, did you see? This is awful. What happened in South Africa?
No.
It's barely in the news because
I didn't even know.
Everybody's talking about the Ukraine. But 443 people have died. 63 other people missing in the deadliest storm on record in South Africa.
Oh my God.
Yeah, tens of thousands of people have been left homeless. 550 schools are damaged. 60 healthcare facilities are damaged. And the South African government has said they need at least an immediate $1 billion in emergency relief. And now the full extent still hasn't been determined. The area in question is called KwaZulu-Natal Premier. KwaZulu-Natal. That's the area it is in. It's in the province of if I'm pronouncing it right, KwaZulu-Natal. Yeah, and the premier, I guess the governor of that area said billions are going to be required to build back the province from this catastrophe. When asked if climate change played a role in the flooding, the South African Weather Service replied, "Duh." Right. No, they didn't say duh, but I say duh. They actually said that they can't attribute any particular event to climate change, but overall there's been a lot of crazier weather. I would say I agree. You can't particularly say this storm is because of climate change.
Right.
But what you can say is that we've had about X amount of storms more this year than we had the year before. Those storms have been more violent, more deadly, more lethal, and every year it gets worse and worse. Mm-hmm. That on overall you can attribute to climate change.
Yeah.
You want to know what's strange?
What?
The most trusted source of news, according to UK market research firm YouGov in the entire world?
Don't say TMZ.
No, it's not. It's the Weather Channel.
What?
They are the most trusted source of news. In the survey of 1,500, at least in the United States, not around the world. In the survey of 1,500 United States adults taken between March 26th and March 29th, the network was found to be trustworthy by 52% of respondents.
Really?
Yes. The New York Times did not fare very well. Only 63% of Democrats said they trust it, and only 14% of Republicans say they trust the New York Times. CNN did not do very well. 65% of Democrats say they trust it, and only 11% say they don't. Which is odd because they said the most trusted news personality in the United States is Anderson Cooper, who's at CNN. I don't get weather news. When I say I don't get it,
I never listened to that.
Let me explain to you something, Jonathan. Do you care what the barometric pressure will be today?
No.
Do you care where the winds are coming from, the south, the north, the east, the west?
No.
Okay? I find the entire weather report stupid.
I don't find the entire.
I thought the only thing.
Because I like to know if it's going to rain or not.
I was about to say, the weather report.
That's all I need.
The weather, well, that's what I was about to say. They spend 5 minutes with barometric pressure. Yeah. Okay, the wind, here's the clouds, here's this low front, the high front, the medium front, whatever they call it. Who cares? This is what we need to know. It can be done in 2 sentences. And here's Tom with the weather. Tomorrow it's going to rain. It's going to be 50 degrees. Wear a sweater. Back to you, Joe. That's all you need to know, right?
That's all. I wanted to comment on the South African story, Brown Wind Whitehead. You know, anytime we have somebody comment that is from the actual country, saying it's terrible and South African government does not supply help, do not send money at the government pockets. South Africa government steals money all the time, especially aid. I'm from there and have family there. No climate change. This happens every 10 years due to African rain and drought seasons. Happened when I was 5 as well.
But not as bad as now. But, I think it's getting worse.
Probably.
I would say it's getting worse. And
but thank you for that.
And probably my guess would be that if these were floods in Cape Town, right, and not out in the bush or wherever. I don't know where the Zulu province is, but it's not in the wealthy, I would presume, the wealthy part of South Africa.
Right.
I would say if it was in Cape Town, they'd see a lot more aid coming in.
Absolutely.
Right?
I was already thinking that in the beginning.
All right. All right, you ready for some Wacky World news?
Yes, let's do it.
So, Jonathan, I don't know if this is wacky, but I would say this is absolutely insane in the membrane.
Okay. What is
it? A 60-year-old man has vaccinated himself against COVID more than 90 times.
Huh?
90 vaccinations. in order to get COVID-19 cards and resell them to people who don't want to be vaccinated. This happened in Germany in the town of Magdeburg. That is insane. You injected yourself 90 times with COVID vaccine?
That's just dumb, guys.
Well, I guess he made money. Now, DPA, which is the German news agency, they reported that the suspect was not detained but is under investigation. He was caught at a vaccination center in Ellenberg in Saxony when he showed up for a COVID shot for the second day in a row. Police confiscated several blank vaccination cards from him and initiated criminal proceedings. It was not immediately clear what impact the 90 shots is going to have on this man.
Oh my God.
And the reason you have to have it is because if you want a valid vaccination card, you need the bin number of where the COVID shot came from. So these were real COVID shot bin numbers, but didn't go into the body of
the person who
got it.
Wow.
Is that insane?
That's dumb. That's just dumb.
Well, the only thing that I would say that Jill just said in my head, if you ever wanted any proof that COVID vaccines won't kill you, the guy's still alive.
For how long?
I don't know.
And we don't know what kind of effect this is going to have on his body or what it's doing to his organs. Come on. I wouldn't even take that risk.
All I can tell you is I took a vaccine booster and I couldn't get out of bed for 4 days.
That's what I'm saying.
So I don't know what this guy's like Superman of antibodies.
Yeah, when I got the vaccine, I was more sick than when I actually had COVID.
Exactly.
So I don't know. This is just that's crazy, guys. Please do not try that at your local hospital.
Right. Here's a way, by the way, Jonathan, to avoid COVID. We have a new way now.
What?
You can buy the world's loneliest home. It's on a deserted island off the coast of Maine. You are there by yourself. You will never get COVID. It's a 1-bedroom home, completely isolated on a deserted island off of Maine, known as Duck Ledges Island. The listing notes it's offered in its entirety. The property sits on 1.5 acres. There's not a sign of civilization anywhere. The listing states the ledges surrounding the island are located with seals for constant entertainment. It has no trees. It offers views of nature that you can't find anywhere else. The cottage, according to the listing, is the world's loneliest home, built in 2009. It's only 540 square feet. The home does not have a bathroom. It has a detached porta potty on the island for those who need to go in the middle of the night.
Do you see this?
It is the world's loneliest island, the world's loneliest home, and it can be yours, Jonathan, for $339,000.
I was about to say, that's a good price until I saw it.
$339,000.
Absolutely not. You got me messed up.
But it's an island. You would have to knock down the house and somehow put in some bathroom and
so if you knock down, so this is the
I don't even know where they get electricity from on this lonely island.
Right. If I knock down the house, build this mini mansion on this island.
But you know how expensive it would be to build a mini mansion because you have to bring all the workers in by boat and bring all the supplies, and where are you getting electricity from?
And then I would be nervous, if it.
There's not a lot of space there.
Yeah.
It's the world. And what about the poor? What about the poor seals who are watching all of this?
Obviously, I'm a city boy, so I don't know what to say.
You know what? I'm going to skip that investment. What about you?
I'm a city boy.
Jonathan, skip the investment. Yes. Okay, and by the way, there's a UK professor.
Oh, this is what we were talking about.
Yeah, he's taking it back, Jonathan. Mm-hmm. He said the Loch Ness Monster, the famous Loch Ness Monster, was in fact a lonely whale's penis looking around for a booty call. And everybody on Twitter was starting to believe it.
This is what I saw.
They were saying the Loch Ness Monster was just basically a horny whale. But what it turns out is that Michael Sweet, the molecular ecologist, is wrong. You want to know why he's wrong?
Why?
Because Loch Ness is a lake. It's fresh water, and whales live in salt water. So he floated the controversy on April 8th. He got over 100,000 likes. Everybody thought it was finally solved. The Loch Ness Monster.
I thought so too. I was like, wow. But yeah, that makes sense.
But apparently, Michael Sweet. He described in a subsequent tweet why blue whales like to breach penis first. Go up penis first. Whales often mate in groups, so while one male is busy with the female, the other male just pops his dick out of the water while swimming around, waiting for his turn. When the female's done, the female goes from man. The female's having fun. The female is loose, man.
No, she's
having
fun.
That's a loose whale.
She is having fun.
That is a loose whale going.
That sounds like a good time. Okay, female just having a good time. That's what we call it.
Now, Michael Sweet, he's the way he's taken it back. He said he firmly believes that the Scottish monster is a hoax. That since retracted his theory. He said, "I used the image of Nessie." I guess that's the whale.
Yeah.
Just as an example of what people used to describe sea monsters looking like. But Nessie was a poor choice to use in this instance, given the absence of whales in Loch Ness.
Sometimes you got to think before you tweet.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is a gross story or a sweet story, or something in the middle. A bored and homesick English woman living in Africa became a human nest for a weakling finch bird for nearly 3 months, and now has written a book about the bird living in her hair. Hannah Bourne Taylor, a London-based photographer and copywriter, told The Guardian, "Each day he made little nests in my hair, on the groove of my collarbone, which filled me with awe. He'd tuck himself under a curtain of hair and gather individual strands with his beak, sculpting them into a round of woven locks resembling a small nest, then setting inside. She basically let a bird live in her hair. And she fell in love with this bird. And she took care of this bird. Where did the bird poop? All over her, probably. Eventually,
where do birds usually poop when they have a nest?
Yeah,
in their
well,
nest?
she's the lucky. You know what they say? If your bird poops on you, that's luck. She must be the luckiest person in the world. Eventually, after 3 months, the bird was able to join the bird flock and left her, and she has been very sad since. She's never come back to visit this woman, but she wrote a book about it, about how it changed her life with a bird living in her hair.
Y'all already know how I feel about birds, so it's a no for me, guys.
It's a no. You would not allow a bird to live in your hair.
Absolutely not.
Do we have?
Look,
there it is.
See,
Jonathan wouldn't even let a bird
near me. Do you see that? Did you see the birds attack me? Absolutely not.
Oh man! You know, some videos, Jonathan, will live in infamy. That
can live for free.
That one's an infamy. We've shown that for years. We still get a laugh. The one with you running down the street in your underwear. That one's gonna live in infamy. And finally, Jonathan, our last Wacky World news story: a London couple claimed their hellish neighbor installed a mannequin to stare into their bedroom from their loft window and sued him for invasion of privacy. Because the mannequin was staring at them through the window. It's kind of creepy looking.
Oh, whoa!
That's kind of creepy looking.
Oh no, that's creepy.
They said that the mannequin, they got so creeped out by the mannequin that they had to close their shades. They had to get dressed, behind doors and closets because this mannequin was just peering at them the whole entire time.
That's what? Look at it.
To add insult to injury, the owner of the mannequin, his name is Simon Cook, added a blonde wig, making it appear that someone was watching over their every move. According to the lawsuit by Rosie and Christopher Taylor, they're from New Zealand, we can't take a shower, we can't get dressed without being overlooked. It's essentially like living in darkness with curtains down. Their case got thrown out.
Yeah, because it's a mannequin.
It's a mannequin.
The only thing I would say is it just would make you uncomfortable because the person could, whenever they feel like it, move that mannequin and actually be him, looking.
Maybe that person is the mannequin and he's just standing still.
No, that's obviously a mannequin.
You don't know that's obvious. You can't tell from across the street. That person can put some makeup on and just sit there and stare at them all day long.
That looks like a mannequin, but
anybody who puts a mannequin like that in their window, I would put anything against them. I would move out of that neighborhood.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, spooky. That's like a spooky.
That's spooky as
That's
hell.
a spooky movie.
Yeah.
That's
for
like out of
sure.
a spooky movie.
Yeah.
Right? And of course it would happen in like a spooky town in the
Yeah.
UK, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, that's our Wacky World news. It's Tick-tock time, Jonathan. Where's
right.
my paper? Here it is. And in this edition of Tick-tock time, I answer questions about working with an expired employment authorization card, canceling asylum, breaking ESTA rules, and deportation. Let's watch. Your unauthorized employment was while you had a pending adjustment of status, not while you were on a student visa. So it should not affect your ultimate adjustment of status, and you should still be able to get your green card. Good luck. If your husband is in removal, the government's trying to deport him, so you can't cancel anything. What you can do is go to his removal hearing and show them that you're married in a bona fide marriage and adjust the status before a judge. You broke the rules if you came on an ESTA with the intention of getting married, got married within 90 days, filed an adjustment application to get your green card, and it's not funny because you'll be denied and you'll need a waiver or you're going to get deported. If the conviction was prior to February 1997, you have the potential of a 212C waiver. After 1997, then it would be Convention Against Torture. Your life's in danger if you go home. Those are the options. All right. It's lunchtime. Nope.
Yes.
It's dinner time.
Dinner time.
It's dinner time. Meat and potatoes. Let's do it. Answering your immigration questions. Otherwise, it's lunchtime. It's dinner time. You know, sometimes I talk so much I forget what I'm saying, you know? But I'm not going to forget my immigration answers.
No.
Right? I know I don't screw that one up, right?
Right.
All right, let's go to Stacy in Cold Springs, Florida. Stacy.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Brad?
Very good, except I just dropped water, spilled water all over me, but good. What's going on?
Okay, I have two questions for you if you have time.
I have all the time in the world.
First question is, I filed my I-130, 485, and 765 last year. Well, I started the filing in August, but it never went through until November of last year.
What do you mean it never went through? In other words, you filed in August, but you got a receipt in November.
I got a receipt notice in November.
Okay, fine. Yeah, because they were very backed up because of COVID.
Wrong.
No, it was just because of
Say
COVID.
that again?
It was because of COVID.
Oh, okay. They
Yeah.
kept sending it back. No, they kept sending it back saying that we were doing something wrong.
I see.
And so we finally got it right. And so when we sent it that last time in November, they accepted it.
Good.
So what I want to know is, I also did my biometrics in January of this year. What's a good timeline to expect a
Before November of next year.
card, like a work permit?
Oh, but your work permit you won't get till sometime over the summer. And your interview for your green card should be October and November.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So that's question number one.
Now, I want you to know that the Biden administration is going to accept premium processing for work permits as of May 31st to June 1st. Let's call it June 1st. How it works, we don't know yet. They have to come out with the form and the regulation, but they're going to accept premium processing for work permits as of June 1st. They're going to make people pay $2,500 to expedite a work permit in 14 days.
Okay.
If you want to pay
Okay.
it. Okay, I'm not saying to do it. I if you want to pay it.
Okay. Okay. So next question. When we originally filed in August, I also filed for my son's I-130 back in Jamaica. He's 15. I heard on a show before that we could expedite that process by writing a letter.
For a humanitarian expedite, yes.
Yes.
Everybody and their uncle is requesting humanitarian expedites. So unless it's a real serious issue, they're not going to do it now.
Okay, so does the fact that I left him with his grandmother and now she's having issues with her health?
Yeah, because it's very possible he'll be on the street with nobody to take care of him. It's a good humanitarian reason. You have to document it, and submit it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so where do we submit this letter, though?
Right, wherever your immigration case is pending.
Okay, so wherever we sent his papers prior, that's where we sent the letter
Correct.
to. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Marie in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Marie, don't listen to the show. Listen to me talk to you now live. We got to wait for the show to catch up now to Marie. Marie. Hold on. Too bad, Marie. Hold on. We'll get you back. George in Baltimore. George. George also having a Marie problem. Let's go to Daniel in Houston. Daniel.
Hey, Brad, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I have my case is I-751. I just submit on 2019 May, and I received a biometric on 2020 November. But still, my case is still just pending. And I was just trying to contact them, the Congress, and
you filed your adjustment when?
I-751 adjustment status.
Oh, you did your I-751 or an I-45? Those are two different things.
I-751.
Okay, when did you do it?
I did it on May of 2019.
And you have not gotten an interview yet?
Nothing.
3 years?
3 years.
You're still with your spouse?
Yes.
File for your citizenship today.
Okay. It don't affect me, that one?
No, it's going to make it go faster. You'll get an interview for your citizenship and an interview for your I-751 simultaneously. File your N-400. That's what you do right now.
Okay. And one last thing. They was just like send me an email like I should just receive between 120 days.
File your citizenship.
Okay. All right.
That's my advice. Doesn't change no matter what they say. File your citizenship.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, Brad.
Okay.
All right, Brad. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's try back to Marie. Marie.
Hi, Brad.
How are you?
I'm good. I am calling to ask you this question. I filed for my husband as a green card holder, but I'm waiting on my citizenship interview. Are we allowed to travel in-state if I want to fly?
Waiting for your citizenship?
I applied for my citizenship.
Of course, you can travel wherever you want.
No, but I want to know if he can fly because we only got a document.
If he has a valid passport, he can fly domestically. It is highly unlikely that anybody would bother him. Nobody could ever give you a personal guarantee, but it is extraordinarily unlikely that anybody would bother him as long as he has a valid passport to show TSA. And worst comes to worst, let's assume the worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
He's the 1 in a million that they arrest to put in deportation. They're backed up trying to deport people 4 years. By the time he gets his hearing, it'll be 2026, and you'll be a citizen in 6 months, and he'll get his green card anyway based on your citizenship.
How long is the citizenship taking
6
now?
months.
Because it's been a year since
If it's more than a year, there's something wrong. It's taking very fast these days.
Okay, because they said it's 15 months.
No, it's taking less than it's 6 months, 7 months, 3 months. Very fast. So if you haven't heard anything, you filed when?
Last year.
When?
No, earlier. Yes, last year. May or August.
All right. So May and August is two different things. Because if it's August, you haven't even been a year yet.
August.
Okay, so it hasn't even been a year yet. You've been waiting 8-9 months. You should be a citizen by the end of the summer.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Catherine in Corpus Christi, Texas. Hi, Catherine.
Hello?
How are you, my dear?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Now, I have 2 questions for you.
Yes.
I am a green card holder, conditional green card holder.
Uh-huh.
And I received my 2-year extension. So my 3rd year should be coming in February next year. And I wanted to travel to Africa. What documents should I carry? Because my name in the passport and my name in the green card are different.
Your name in the passport is your single name, and the name in your green card
Yeah.
your married name. Okay.
Yes.
So you have a passport in your maiden name, You have an
Yes.
expired 2-year green card in your married name. You have an extension letter in your
Yeah, for
married
2
name.
years.
You're
Yes.
going to travel with 4 documents, and you're going to present them all.
Okay, let me just write them down.
Okay? I already said 3 of them.
Okay, yeah.
You're going to travel with your passport in your maiden name,
Yes.
your original marriage certificate to show your married name,
Yeah.
your green card that's expired, and the letter
Oh.
extending your green card. Those 4 documents let you back in the United States.
Okay, so all have to be original.
Yes.
The green card and the marriage certificate.
Yes.
And the extension.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and then when can I apply for my citizenship?
You and your husband are together?
Yeah, we are still together.
They live together, financial relationship, all good. You
Everything
You
good.
filed for the I-751 when?
In November, okay, because my 2 year was getting over in February of this year.
Okay, so 1 year from the time that you filed the I-751, you can file for your naturalization. So whatever that date is in November.
Okay, that's good. And then now the second question is, I have a daughter in Africa. She's 25 years. I'd like to apply for her.
You can do that now. You do not have to. That question gets everybody all the time. I get that question all the time. Even though you're a conditional resident, even
Yeah.
though you haven't removed the conditions and you have this pending extension, file for your daughter. You can do it right now.
But will they need anything on the income? It won't affect?
You're going to need income in about 5 years from now. It's about a 5 to 7 year
Oh,
wait.
okay.
So put in the papers now. Don't worry about what worry about what your income is in 5-7 years.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Good luck.
Okay.
Let's go to LV in La Porte, Indiana.
Oh, hi, Brad.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
I'm originally from Cameroon, and I just got in February 23rd of this year. And recently, the TPS program has just been added for Cameroon. And I came in as a J1 under the 212E rule. And I was just wondering, would that have anything to affect
No, you still get TPS.
Sorry?
You will still get TPS.
And what if I wanted to apply in the course of application? What about like my fiance who is back home? Would that be eligible? Would that be a problem?
How would you can't apply as a TPS recipient for a fiance, and you can't apply as a J visa holder with a 2-year home residence requirement for a fiance. So your fiance would independently have to try to get a visa.
Okay. Another question. So I'm a little bit concerned about, so I won't have any problem in the nearest future about, I won't have any problem in the nearest future in regards to if I have to change my my status from a TPS to becoming a permanent resident. How does that work?
You have to get sponsored for a green card. No, there's no thing that just automatically changes you from TPS to a green card. So you would need a job sponsor, a family sponsor.
Okay, what about an H-1B? Will that give me access to getting a green card then?
An H-1B is a work visa, but if you're getting TPS, you don't need it because you have a work permit. You need a job to sponsor you for a green card.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Your time.
Let's go to Ali in Huntsville, Texas.
Yes, sir.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Oh, I have 2 real quick questions.
Yes.
Actually, I filed the I-30 for my 2 kids and my mom at the same time, the same day. And when I go online to check, on 2 of them it says actively review, and then the other one is still saying received and received and sent, and a receipt notice was sent. That's what they say.
Right.
Why does that have 2 differences?
Well, you filed for 2 children and a parent, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a sir. Every application is a separate application.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Sir?
sir. Yes, sir.
Sir? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now you got me. Okay. You ever see a man with this beard? No.
Maybe he's calling you pretty.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay, Ali. The answer is you filed 3 separate applications. They all have a life of their own. They're not attached to one another. So just the way the processing works.
Okay.
So don't look into it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So the last question is, I call USCIS to try to expedite them.
You calling immigration is not expediting them. You can call them every day. They're not going to expedite it. The person who answers the phone has no authority to expedite it. You have to write. You can call them again. Call them every day. They're not going to expedite it. So whatever you tell me they say, it doesn't matter. They're not doing anything. When you call them on the phone, they do nothing for you. You're not even talking to immigration. You're talking to nobody who has authority to act on behalf of immigration to do anything for you.
Okay.
Okay. When you call immigration, it's a circular conversation. Yes, sir. I understand, sir. I'm going to put in a request to the officer, sir. And then it just goes into a black hole somewhere. And nobody gets back to you. The person who has authority to expedite your case, the person who has authority to approve your case on these applications, the only way to communicate with them is by letter. You write a letter.
So I did file online. So how can I send the letter to them?
You take out a pen and paper, or you get on a computer, and you put the case number, and you write a letter, explain your situation, why they need an expedite, what's your humanitarian reason, and you mail it to the place where your application receipt came from.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Right.
Let's go to Richard in Houston.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight is Houston. All right. I'm a green card holder. This year, December, is going to be 5 years. I'm in America now for over 2 years. But the previous 2 years, I've been back and forth. One of the time, I spent 8 months. Question is, am I eligible to apply for citizenship this year?
Why did you spend 8 months?
I was still working, but I had a court matter in Jamaica, so
Okay.
I had to deal with it.
The answer is no. In order to become a citizen, there's 3 rules. In the last 5 years, you have to be physically present in the United States for 30 out of 60 months. In the last 5 years, no trip more than 6 months. If it's between 6 and 12 months, and you have a rebuttable presumption that you did not break your residence requirements, then maybe you can overcome it. The only time I've ever seen the rebuttable presumption work is if you were incapacitated in a hospital or you were in school. And on every school break, you would come back to the United States. Other than that, I've never seen the rebuttable presumption work. For work in a court hearing, no, that's not going to work. So now what you have to do is count from the time your last time outside the United States for more than 6 months. When was your trip for 8 months and when you came back? When was that?
In 2019.
Okay, so from that date in 2019, you can now file your citizenship in 2024, presuming that between that last entry after that 8 months outside of the U.S. to 2024, you're physically in the United States 30 out of 60 months and no trip more than 6 months. So the clock starts again on that last trip.
Okay, understand.
All right?
Oh.
2024.
Okay,
Call me back then.
2024.
Yep.
So in that case, what can I do with my wife?
File for her now. File an I-130 as a spouse. You can still file for her.
Yeah, but I've done it over 2 years now.
Okay, so now see if you can make an expedite request.
What can I apply for? Which form?
It's not a form. You write a letter. Give a humanitarian reason why your wife needs to be here.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Let's go to Prince in New York.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Prince.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a U.S. citizen, and my son came from Nigeria when he was very young with green card. So when I became a citizen and I was still in school, I filed for passport for him. They gave him a passport. So I couldn't afford to pay for good school, for private school. I sent him home, and he went back. So when he finished college, medical school now, I told him to go to the embassy with the passport. But they're asking him for his certificate of citizenship.
What happened at the embassy?
Okay, he has a green card. When
I understand that. What did the embassy say when he went back with the passport that was expired?
They said they wanted the proof of citizenship.
Proof of whose citizenship?
My son.
Your son is a citizen.
Yeah, but they said it's only
the proof is the passport. The proof is that he had a green card and lived with you.
But they deny him. I was trying to come to your office tomorrow, and I just saw you on the line. That's
All right, so
why
come to my office tomorrow. We'll call the embassy. Hold on.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to Kiev in Houston. Kiev.
Hey, Brad.
How are you?
Good. So I have applied for asylum 2 months ago, and I did not give biometrics yet. And now I have decided to go back home. So what can I do? Like, what is the process I need to do?
Withdraw it, but you're never going to be allowed back in the U.S.
So is there any, like, a time frame that I would be, like, not to come to USA or just for the life?
You violated your visa status by coming on a visa and applying for asylum. So that visa is no longer good anymore. You would have to go back to the U.S. consulate and explain to them why you had a visa, why you filed for asylum, and then withdrew it 2 months later. And they're going to be like, get out of here. That's what they're going to say.
Okay.
I don't know what you could possibly say to them that they would say, yes, we understand. Here's a new visa. I have no idea.
Okay.
I can't even imagine what you could possibly say that they would give you a new visa and say, yes, of course, we believe that you're legitimately coming to visit and going home. I don't know. I don't know what you could possibly say. I can't imagine a scenario where they would give it to you.
Okay, so there's not any other process that I need to do, right? I can just leave the USA?
Just leave, withdraw the asylum case and leave, yeah.
Okay.
I'll withdraw it rather than let it meander, but other than that, yeah, go.
So you say withdraw, how can I do that?
You write a letter to them, please, I'm withdrawing my asylum.
Okay. So do I need to wait until they accept it, or just
write it
the
and
letter
go.
and
Write
leave?
and go.
Okay, so this should be to USIS, right?
You have a receipt. You have a receipt notice for your asylum claim.
Yes.
On that receipt is an alien registration number and an address where that receipt came from. You write a letter, attach the receipt, say, here's the receipt, here's my A number, I'm withdrawing my asylum, thank you. Sign it. Just told you how to write the letter.
Okay. So, and then after that, like, if I need a visa, maybe after 5-10 years, I have to go to the consulate office and then see what they're gonna say.
Right.
Okay. All right, Brad. Thank you so much.
Good luck. Randy in Queens.
Hello, Brad.
How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
Good. How are you?
All right. So 2 quick questions. If a parent with a green card is filing for a child and the parent becomes a citizen before the petition is approved, can you still ask to opt out of the F1 category to F2B?
You can opt out of the F2B category.
Because it converts automatically.
It converts
to F1.
automatically. You can only convert back to the F2B category if the I-130 is already approved.
Oh.
And then you become a citizen, but not while it's pending.
Oh, so if it's not yet approved and they already become a citizen, then there's no convert.
No, you're not going to be able to convert it back. If the I-130 is approved and then you become a citizen, it's just a weird law, but that's the way it is. And obviously for those wondering why would you do that, it's because it's actually faster at the moment for children of permanent residents and children of U.S. citizens. So you want to stay in that F2B category, but you can't. The only thing you can do is delay, if you choose to, delay your citizenship interview.
Okay. And what if someone is undocumented and they have 245I protection? Can they still get sponsorship from an employer?
Absolutely.
Okay. Those are my two questions.
All right.
Thank you so
You're welcome.
much. All right.
Let's go to Zach in Vienna, Virginia.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Good. How are you?
What's going on?
I'm on F1 visa. I've been here for 3 years.
Yeah.
I was charged with misdemeanor class 1 in Virginia. My visa's about
What was
to
the misdemeanor
expire.
for?
Was for reckless driving.
Okay. What were you found guilty of something?
Yes.
What?
Misdemeanor.
Misdemeanor
Class 1.
reckless driving in Virginia.
Yes.
Okay.
In Virginia.
You go to jail?
I went to jail for like 4 or 5 days.
Okay. And you're applying for a green card?
I'm applying for a green card.
Okay. And when did this happen?
This happened, it's been 3 years.
Okay. And it's just through marriage?
Yes.
Okay. It's probably a petty offense. It's a crime of moral turpitude and a petty offense, most likely. So as long as you can show your person a good moral character, it should not affect you.
Not affect you.
All right?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to O'Neill in Columbus, Ohio.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening. I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I got married in Jamaica in 2016 of March. I migrated to America in February of 2018. Then I filed to remove my conditions in November of 2019
into 2020. Okay.
And then in July of 2020, my wife called the cops on me and told lies, and I got a restraining order. And I went to court and she couldn't prove it. So the judge said he's only going to do a 6-month temporary PFA and then civil no contact order. And she was telling the judge all she wanted to do was to get divorced. When I was trying to get divorced, reach out to her to get you divorced, she didn't want to get you divorced. I got approved for my interview. I ended up never going because I came in contact with somebody with COVID, so I had the COVID symptoms. So I contacted USCIS and asked to reschedule. They never rescheduled. They sent my case to immigration court. So I ended up getting divorced without her in December of 2021. I got my immigration court case in June. So that's my situation.
I think you're going to be okay. You're divorced. You have proof it's a real marriage because the cops came to your home and arrested you with her there accusing you.
I never got arrested.
Whatever it is, the judicial system knows that the two of you were living together, which is all you got to prove. And your case was ultimately dismissed. So there's no better proof than getting arrested in the home or going through a judicial criminal case with all the records saying you guys are living together. That's all you got to prove. And the case was dismissed. You got to go to court. What I would be doing right now is I would be filing a late I-751 application based on a divorce and a bona fide marriage, and go to court in June and ask the judge to terminate your proceedings and allow you to redo the I-751.
Yes, sir. I've been watching it for years, and I would like to.
You're watching me for years. Why are you in deportation? Had you called me years ago, you wouldn't be. Hold on. Don't be lackadaisical anymore. Hold on. Okay.
Okay.
Hold on. That was just being lackadaisical. Watching me for years. Yeah, I'm watching you for years. Well, why you?
Gotta use you.
Gotta use me. Daniel in Philadelphia.
Hey, Brad.
How are you?
How you doing?
What's going on?
Yes, I have a situation. I was accused of fraud marriage. So they sent me a letter of intent to rescind my green card. I never received it until about 5 years when I had interaction with the ICE. So they took me in for about 3 months. And when I came out, I took a lawyer, and the lawyer decided to open the case. But they did not reopen the case. So the lawyer asked to see the immigration lawyer and fight for the 5-year rule after I received the green card. And they denied.
Stop. You didn't see an immigration lawyer, you saw an immigration judge, and your lawyer tried to terminate your proceedings saying you already adjusted your status, it's more than 5 years later, so therefore they can't undo it. There's a 5-year statute of limitations on that. And what happened?
Yes. So USCIS did not accept that, and they referred the case to the immigration lawyer to decide on it.
The immigration judge.
The immigration judge to decide on it, but the deportation was terminated. And now I'm waiting for, what do you call it, master calendar hearing.
Okay, all right, stop. You're talking in circles and you're not making any sense. If your deportation hearing was terminated, you're not waiting for a master calendar hearing. So I don't know what was terminated. You were accused of marriage fraud. You can't explain what's going on. I have a general idea. They're trying to take your green card away. You're in removal. You got to prove there was no marriage fraud. You could possibly be in a jurisdiction, which is the Third Circuit. You're in Philadelphia? Yeah. There could be a jurisdiction where they can't rescind your green card more than 5 years after the fact. But you need help because you can't even explain what's going on. Hold on. Let's go to Salawali. Salawali, how are you?
Hi, bro. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Hi, bro. Please, thank you for talking to me today.
My pleasure.
Talk to you. Please, bro, really quick. My question is, my wife is U.S. citizen. She filed for me in January 2018. So I got my work authorization. And December 2018, I was called for the first interview. It was really great. My wife answered all the questions they wanted. So we expected them to send my green card. They didn't send it. So I received another notice for Stokes interview.
Right. When was this Stokes?
That was 20th, 2020, January 2020.
January 2020. All right.
Yeah,
how'd it go?
Yes.
How'd the Stokes interview go?
It was very fine. And my wife was separated.
Right.
My wife, everything was together. Even the USCIS.
So what's the problem today? Why don't you have a green card?
I don't know why.
You never got a decision?
I waited. Huh?
You never got a decision?
No, till now.
To this day?
Huh?
To this day, no decision?
No decision for 2 years.
And you and your wife are together?
We're together.
All right, you know what I'm going to tell you to do?
Yeah.
A mandamus, or a threat of it. We threaten New York for a mandamus. You'll get an interview or a final green card in weeks. Hold on. That's what he needs. By the way, if you didn't get your immigration questions asked and answered, you could always follow me on Instagram. Drop me a DM. It may take me a day or 2 or 3 to get back to you, but I'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. So follow me at Real Brad Bernstein on Instagram. You can drop me a DM. I'll try to help you as best as I can. You can also follow us at Bradshaw Live. You can't handle 2 hours of us, but you can handle 30 seconds. The best place is at Bradshaw Live on Instagram. And our fastest social media growing platform is TikTok. You even see it on TikTok time. You can leave your questions in the comments, and if I see it and I respond, you'll get a personalized video answering your immigration question for the entire world to see.
And you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And later in the show, we will hear the final part of my discussion with National Geographic explorer Tara Roberts, who is the host and executive producer of the 6-part podcast Into the Depths, which follows black divers and marine archaeologists as they search for buried slave trade shipwrecks in order to preserve the history of African diaspora.
And as we said earlier, tomorrow is Earth Day 2022, which has been celebrated globally since 1970. The theme for this year's celebration is Invest in Our Planet. Its website states Earth Day 2022 is focused on accelerating solutions to combat our greatest threat, climate change, and to activate everyone, governments, citizens, and businesses to do their part. Now go to earthday.org to find out what events NASA and the official Earth Day Network are hosting, and to find out different ways we can all take action for Earth, not just on Earth Day, but every day. All right, now in honor of Earth Day, we have a short compilation of people Bradshaw Live has spoken to over the years who are dedicated to promoting the beauty and the protection of the planet Earth.
It's important for us to be here today because not only is it going to affect us when we grow up, it's affecting everybody currently, and I don't want to have kids and then my kids not see the things I saw. I want them to see the green trees, the beautiful sights, all of that.
We are doing this to wake the leaders up. We are doing this to get them to act. We deserve a safe future, and we demand a safe future. Is that really too much to ask?
Jolien Collier is the founder and president of Counting Coral, a nonprofit focused on saving and protecting coral reefs through living underwater art.
The reason why they're so special is because we've lost 50% of all coral reefs on the planet right today, and the prediction is in 30 years we're going to lose the rest. So you're taking an animal species, been around for millions of years, and you're killing it in 60 years. Done, gone, no more. It's a natural progression to me to go, okay, how do I save reef? How do I spread awareness? Because I could go and plant reef and no one would know about it. But if I go and put a sculpture in the ground and put coral on it, people are going to pay attention, take pictures and share that message. We have every coastal community around the world being affected, and Miami, is being affected. Their city is flooding and they're putting in millions and millions of dollars to have pumps put in. That's not going to stop. You're just putting a Band-Aid on a very large cut. It's like this complete madness of thinking as opposed to addressing the issue, which is we're overproducing animals, we're cutting down every freaking forest in the planet, and we're pumping CO2 and carbon into the atmosphere. Those are the issues.
So I talk a lot about how climate change affects migration.
They are moving in the Maldives already. Those islands are going underwater. Yemen's a great example. The war in Yemen is pretty much being fought over water. And guess what? Everyone's bailing because water is not worth fighting over, so they're leaving. Guess what? That puts pressure on other communities and countries to say, oh man, we've got all these immigrants. You're going to have to wake up real quick to the environmental issues at hand. Otherwise, all these countries can talk about immigration as much as they want, but they are going to face the biggest crisis ever handed to them on a plate, and it's coming real soon.
The National Butterfly Center in Mission, Texas, is located in the Rio Grande River, right on the U.S.-Mexico border. The National Butterfly Center's objective is to preserve and showcase live animals and plants, to enhance human understanding and appreciation of nature, and to ensure the landscape and wildlife will be here for future generations. Recently, however, the center has found itself in the middle of the border wall controversy. You've lived in this area. Have you ever walked out into the Butterfly Center and say, wow, I feel really unsafe here?
Never. It is exactly the opposite. If we thought that this border wall, which is going to be built over 2 miles inland in some places in South Texas, would do anything at all to protect America, then we might support it. This part of the United States has more butterflies in both species diversity and volume than any place in North America.
Why are butterflies more important than building a wall?
Butterflies are the primary pollinators of all of our native plants and grasses. If we eliminate the habitat that sustains butterflies, which is what has to happen for the wall, it's going to affect 6,000 acres. Land that will be cleared and have concrete and all-weather rubberized road poured across it. Each butterfly is intimately tied to 1 or 2 plant species. So if we don't have butterflies, We don't have anything to pollinate the plants and grasses that remain.
Okay, Brad Squad, I am here with Planet Earth. Literally. She goes by Hilla the Killer. What brings you here today?
Well, I'm the Earth. This is an Earth Day event. I want to celebrate my existence, 4.5 billion years, yo.
How do you feel we can leave a better Earth for the next generations?
Plant trees. Don't cut down trees. Plant trees. Compost. Be kind to each other. Community gardens. Grow your own food.
Rumor has it that the Earth was rapping earlier.
Put your hands in the air for this wet-ass planet.
So do you think that you could share some of your bars?
Yo, the Earth is here at Union Square, and I'm really about all that clean air. Yeah, I really like to get that water. I'm not trying to be any hotter. I'm just cool. Yeah, I like to chill. I got cycles and systems. That is me. I'm so ill. The Earth, yeah, I spin, and what I really want is for everyone to win. Hey!
Yes, yes, yes. You heard it.
Oh, that was nice.
That's hilarious. The Earth, very talented.
Yeah.
Very talented
Very
Earth.
talented Earth.
Yes.
Yes.
Were you expecting the Earth to rap?
I was not.
That was a good
some talent right there.
Yeah, that Earth has some talent is right. You know, they don't say Mother Nature. Don't fool with Mother Nature for no reason, right? All right, let's do it. Social media check-in.
Okay, so I'm Paul on Facebook. Can I apply for an R1 visa while I-130 is pending because F4 is waiting a very long time?
No, because an R1 is a non-immigrant intent. You've already shown an immigrant intent.
Daryl Winnabow on YouTube. I filed a COS application from B2 to F1, but only paid the service fee yesterday after doing biometrics in October 2021. What's your advice? Am I in trouble?
If you have overstayed on your B2 visa by more than 180 days and your student visa still hasn't been approved yet, you may be in trouble.
Rose Baptiste on YouTube. Is Jamaica doing interviews for F2 and how long is the wait time?
They're doing interviews, a little bit of everybody.
It's Apple Pie on Facebook. Is DNA a must for a derivative on the F1 case? The dad is the principal applicant. Will they DNA test the 3-year-old?
And if the dad's name is on the birth certificate at the time of birth, maybe not.
O'Shane Thomas on Facebook. How likely is it for USCIS to approve a request to have your adjustment application moved to another processing facility?
0.
CE user on YouTube. Can a TN visa holder through employment change status in the USA as the spouse of a potential green card applicant? Does the 90-day rule still apply to overcome dual intent when they're married prior? The married couple both have TN visas through employment. Now one is being sponsored for a green card and would like to do an AOS.
Wait, why? What's
so can the spouse do an AOS and how long will the process do?
The derivative spouse can do it. Just make sure that they're in the United States for more than 90 days when they file the adjustment.
Kenton Peters on YouTube. My aunt recently got a letter to say that 1 year has passed and she has not applied for an immigrant visa because they closed the case, but she did not get the letter last year. What can be done?
She can try to reopen the case within a year of them giving that letter.
Christine Bennett on Facebook. If a parent files for their kids in Jamaica while having a green card and they have been getting 60-day notice 1 year now, but the parent is now a citizen, how much longer will it take? Should the parent update the citizenship online with USCIS?
Update with the National Visa Center. I assume it's at the National Visa Center. I don't know how long it'll take, but hopefully soon.
Nate Games on YouTube. I have a conditional green card, but my spouse filed for divorce 1 year ago, and she also got a civil restraining order against me. Can I remove the conditions on my conditional with no problem? Our marriage was bona fide and entered in good faith.
You can file an application to remove the conditions based on a marriage that was entered into in good faith, that you're now divorced. No law that says you have to remain married. As long as you have proof that you lived together, had a financial relationship after you got your 2-year green card, and you are now divorced, doesn't mean you have to be together all the way through the divorce. There was a period of time you were together, period of time you're not. Sounds like you got a good case.
Fatumata Berry on Facebook. My mom applied for my brother under I-130. The case is at the NVC and they're asking for my mom's 2020 tax return, but she didn't file. I have a joint sponsor already. What can I do?
Just write a letter. She didn't file. As long as you have a joint sponsor that could cover all the 125% above the poverty level, it's fine. Just write a letter. Did not file tax return. Did not work.
Rose Baptiste on YouTube. I am filing for my 2 kids in Jamaica. How long do you think they have to wait to get their interview? How backed up are they in Jamaica? How long after landing with my I-551 do I receive my SSN?
You should get your work permit. So you can go to the Social Security Bureau and actually go get your SSN the same day. You don't have to wait for it to be mailed to you. And as far as how long your kids are going to take, over a year from whenever they're documentally qualified. Jamaica's really backed up.
Lynette Brenda Lewis on Facebook. When should I expect my interview notice if I received an email that my case is ready to be scheduled for an interview?
Anytime between today and the rest of eternity.
Winter Winner on Facebook.
How would I know when you're going to get an interview?
Right. Winter Winner on Facebook. I was twice married, but never had an opportunity to file for a green card, and I have a 4-year-old kid with my last marriage, though we are now divorced. Can I apply for my green card?
No.
Augustine Bumi on YouTube. VAWA case I-360 approved in April 2021. Today I went to the I-485 interview. The officer brought back the mistake I made on the visa application saying I was married before coming to the U.S. What do I need to do? I heard you...
File a waiver for misrepresentation. That's not a mistake. That was done on purpose so you could get a visa. We know your deal.
Okay. Tremaine, yeah.
That's no mistake. Nobody writes a mistake. I'm married. Oops, I'm sorry. It's a mistake. I'm single.
He says, I heard you always say to get a certificate at the National Record Center, but my country does not have that service. All marriage records stay at City Hall.
Then get it at City Hall. Get it wherever they have the authorized place to get the marriage certificates.
Tremaine Ramdeen on Facebook. I filed an I-130 for my mom on July 17th, 2021, and I received my receipt notice on August 2nd, 2021. I got an update on February 19th, 2022, saying that they're actively reviewing my case and they don't need anything else from me at this moment. And from then, I have not heard anything else. Is there any way you can tell me how long I'll have to wait to hear from USCIS again?
Who's filing for him?
I filed an I-130 for my mom.
For your mom? It should be shortly. I don't know the answer when you're going to hear, but if you're a U.S. citizen who filed for a mom, it shouldn't take more than a year to 15 months to get approved.
Aman Kasria on YouTube. I filed I-360 filed August 2020. RFE sent January 2021. How long will it take for approval?
What are all these questions? How long?
It's a lot, yeah.
I don't know when you're going to get approved. Everyone who asks me what day you're going to get approved, November 1st. I don't know when you're going to get approved.
Yes.
Stop giving me these questions.
Right. Stacey Ann Jones Wilson on Facebook came to visit my citizen husband in July of last year and decided to stay and start the filing process for both me and my son. Did the biometrics in January. What's the timeline to get a work permit and an interview date for both me and my son? And can my husband also file for my 21-year-old?
Your husband can file for a 21-year-old if the marriage happened before you're 18. Work permits and travel documents are taking about 8 months now from the time of filing.
Okay, Yvonne Cole on YouTube. My husband came here and had a stroke. We filed for an extension on the visitor's visa in June 2021 and still did not get an answer to date. Do you know what could have happened?
I don't know what you did wrong, but he's now out of status, so you need help.
Azari Barth on YouTube. What if someone is trying to make up a criminal case against me to immigration? Should I be worried?
No.
Patrick Clark on YouTube. As an abused spouse, I've been waiting over 3 years to get an interview and still did not get one up to this date. My wife and I are divorced. I'm filing for the I-751 by myself. What should I do?
Well, if it's more than 3 years, that means you've had a green card for 5. I would file your citizenship.
And last one, don't know who it's from, but it says, I got my 10-year green card September 2021 and got arrested in 2018 for tampering with government records. Got a 6 months probation with deferred education. Will there be any problem to travel overseas?
I would need, I don't know what deferred adjudication would mean. I don't know what state this is. So I'm not 100% certain if you have a conviction or not. So I would need to see the disposition.
All right.
All right. Now this week, Jonathan.
Yes.
I've been speaking with Tara Roberts, the host and executive producer of the National Geographic Podcast Into the Depths, which documents black divers and marine archaeologists searching for slave trade shipwrecks in order to preserve the history of the African diaspora. The National Geographic Explorer has joined me to discuss the project and how it has impacted her own perspective of African and African American identity. Today we're going to hear what Tara has discovered about her own family roots. Let's watch. Into the Depths is a 6-part podcast series that follows National Geographic Explorer Tara Roberts as she documents Black divers and marine archaeologists who are searching for buried shipwrecks from the transatlantic slave trade. Along the way, Tara meets up with the descendants of those brought over on these ships, historians, as well as her friends and family, and comes to new personal revelations about her own family history and what belonging means. The first episode of Into the Depths aired on January 27th, 2022, and is available on Apple Podcasts and wherever people get their podcasts. Tara Roberts, the executive producer and host of the series, is with me to discuss the project. Welcome, Tara. First, let's watch a trailer for Into the Depths.
Black scuba divers are searching for shipwrecks from the transatlantic slave trade.
It was like diving on a grave site.
And honoring the 1.8 million Africans who were lost. I'm National Geographic Explorer Tara Roberts, and I dropped everything to travel with these divers.
Come to Costa Rica!
Join me for Into the Depths, a 6-part Nat Geo podcast series starting in January. It's going to be an incredible journey.
Now, on your podcast, you tell a lot of stories about what happened on the slave ships. You talked about a rebellion on a Danish ship, the Fredericus Quartus and the Christianus Quintus. Mm-hmm. And you learn about a female-led insurrection that took place on these ships. And you say that it was the women on the ships. If there were more women on the ships, it was more likely to have a revolt. And that seems at least backwards to what you would think in your head, that, you know, the man would be stronger, you know, just physically stronger, be more likely to revolt. Why do you think if it was more women on the boat that there were revolts?
Well, I think it's partly because probably the people who were restraining them and bringing them to the Americas had that same thought that women are weaker, men are not. So that the men were probably more carefully guarded, more restrained than the women. And we do know that a lot of horrible things happened to the women on the ships that didn't happen to the men. There were many sexual assaults. Mm-hmm. And perhaps there was also a bit of freedom of movement so that those sexual assaults could occur. And we do know that, for instance, in the Dahomey Kingdom, those fierce warriors that were capturing their neighbors, that's actually where the story of the Amazons comes from. It's the Dahomey Kingdom, because they had women warriors who would go in and like behead their neighbors as they were capturing them. So there is a history of like fierce women warriors in West Africa. And it is likely that some of those women were also held captive and put on ships.
In the podcast, when your Ancestry.com results came back, the highest percentage of your DNA was from Benin and Togo, but that didn't surprise you. Why?
Well, Benin, Togo, and Ghana make up what was called the Slave Coast. And so there's a high percentage of African Americans that likely can trace their roots to that area, but we don't know for sure.
Now, based on the oral history of Cujo Lewis, he was a captive people held in barracoons, which are kind of like enclosures where the captured Africans were confined for a limited period. In Benin, they were ordered to walk around the tree of forgetfulness, where they were instructed to forget their identity, forget their culture, forget their history, so that they would become a blank canvas to their slave masters. What was the significance of this obviously very thought out ritual?
I think it's another example of like the 1870s 70 brick wall, like that attempt to erase these people, to erase this history, to say that it's not important. No, what's important is what we give you, what we turn you into, but what you were, what you came from, it's irrelevant. So part of this work is all about bringing relevancy to what happened before. As a part of this process, I ended up hiring a genealogist myself to see if I could trace back to a slave shipwreck. And she took a lot of the clues that we had in our family lore. And I do actually know one ancestor who was born before 1870, The furthest I can trace back is 1837, and that ancestor was born enslaved. But the reason that we know about him is because we have wills, we have pictures, we have things that were passed down through the family, but we're not able to trace back before 1837. So anyway, the genealogists are going through the records. My ancestor served in the military. He fought in the United States colored troops. So it's finding records like that begin to help us look back.
Now, you visited Africa after you got your DNA results back. Was that trip different than previous trips to Africa?
Yeah, definitely.
Why?
On previous trips, I didn't go seeking belonging, seeking roots, seeking ancestry. But on this trip I did, and it was challenging because I thought I would be received in a certain way. I'm an African American coming back home to Africa, but I saw how much I view Africa in a way that I didn't realize through a really Western and colonial lens, that it is a complicated continent. It is not a country. It is a continent with 54 countries. And to expect the kind of embrace that I was expecting throughout the continent, which I think a lot of African Americans do. And that's partly because we don't know. And we're just like, where is home for us? But coming back to the continent in that way, it just didn't take me where I thought I would go. But I think I ended up somewhere that feels powerful. I ended up in a place where I can actually maybe understand identity and belonging in a new way. One of the persons that I interview in the podcast is a young Congolese woman who really challenged me around a lot of stuff. But I asked her if she considered herself Black, woman who's my complexion in Africa. And she said, no. She was like, that would not be at the top of the identifying details about herself. She considered herself Congolese. She considered herself all these other things, a part of this particular ethnic group, but she did not look at herself as Black. And that is because that is an outside determination that was put on this entire continent that flattened the continent. Again, 54 countries. But to look at this continent and to say, all of you are the same, you're all Black. Like that doesn't happen in Europe. There's not you look at Europe and people are not European American, they're German, they're French. There's not a connection between these countries, but there's a way that we go back to Africa and we treat it like a small A Africa, like it's a country.
It really makes you think. Now, you repeat a phrase that you've heard from others, that to be African American is to be African without memory and to be an American without any privilege. What does that mean?
I think it speaks to the feeling of not being wanted anywhere or not being able to find a place to land here in the States. Being Black in the States has a certain weight that comes with it. Being American and of this skin color on the continent comes with its thing. So like we are a people in between, but I don't know that we've thought about that. And one of the things that the young woman from the Congo said to me, which I thought was really powerful, but she was like, what's interesting to me about African Americans is, yeah, you don't quite have a homeland. You don't, but is there power in that? Like, is there power in being able to pull a little bit from here, a little bit from here, and to newly create who and where you are? Like, are you the future? Are you what the world is moving towards? And that was something I'd never thought about. Could you imagine having power inside of that? Thinking, okay, we don't know. What do we do with that? Like, where do we go with that and make it a powerful thing?
Everybody has a story, and it would be beautiful to know your story. It's also beautiful to have a connection that this is who I am. I'm not sure what you do with it, but I certainly have a connection of being Jewish, just like you have a connection of being from Africa, or your ancestors from Africa, without knowing exactly where and how and who. I don't know where, how, and who either, but I have that connection. What is your American dream?
I think I have more of a global dream. I like the vision in Star Trek where there are no more borders and boundaries, and like everybody is of Earth. I kind of think these boundaries that we have that separate us and that make us feel like we are different from our neighbors, there's a place for them, or there has been a place for them in the past, but I don't know that there's a place for them in the future. I think the vision that I see for the world is one where we are all treating the planet as our home. Like, that's our home. These arbitrary borders that were often stolen, often like conquered in a really horrible way. That's not the thing that defines us. It's our humanity that defines us.
Tara Roberts, congratulations on the success of this amazing project. Into the Depths podcast is available on Apple Podcasts and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also learn more on the National Geographic website, natgeo.com/Into the Depths. And Tara's cover feature in the March issue of National Geographic magazine is available online at natgeo.com. We look forward to seeing what you're going to do next, and really appreciate the time and you joining me. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Aww.
And the best compliment, Jonathan just said to me, he goes, "I'm sorry this interview's
I'm
over."
So
he was
sad.
enjoying
This is 3 days.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-day special, and like, you know, it's over.
Enjoyed that, yeah.
It was so awesome. I mean, you were talking about certain things that you learned. I'm like, look at me. I'm over here. Learning too.
To me, I mean, I learned a lot, but when I never thought, and I'm guilty as anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to be, but I am. I'm only human. African's African.
Yeah.
It's 54 different countries with God knows hundreds and hundreds of different cultures, religions, maybe thousands.
I never even thought about that.
It's like saying German, French. In Europe, you don't say you're European. You say you're German, you're French, you're English. But people flatten out the entire continent.
And I was even saying something as small as just one country, United States, American. Right. We barely say I'm American. We'll say like you're New Yorker. Right. I'm Californian.
Right.
Like, and this is just states.
Sure.
So the fact that we had just like thrown one word for 54 whole countries is it's crazy. So I really enjoyed that.
All right, let's do speed round. Let's see if we can end.
We did it yesterday.
Did we do it? Yes, we blew up 2 days ago.
Yeah.
All right, Ian, let's do it.
All right. You doing your stretches?
I stretched already. I'm ready to go.
All right.
All right, as Carol the Tiger says, let's do it.
Yes.
You can do it.
That's my coach.
You can do it. Rob Schneider and every Adam Sandler movie.
Right.
He comes out and goes, you can do it.
Especially Waterboy.
Yeah.
How long is the process for VAWA with deportation?
At least 3 years.
How long is the new EAD approximately?
The new EAD, it's going to be about 14 days. It's $2,500 starts June 1st.
How can Jamaican drivers come to the U.S. to drive tractor trailers?
They can't.
Can I get an F1 visa if I had a DUI conviction 4 years ago?
Doubt it.
Lost my green card. What should I do?
I-90.
How long does it take to get approval after submitting an I-601?
Over a year.
Can you work while waiting for your EAD and green card?
If you're an immediate relative, yes. If you're not, no.
Can I apply for a U.S. tourist visa with an absolute discharge in Canada as a permanent resident?
You can always try, but who knows?
Can you do a K-1 visa if you're pregnant and the husband is from another country?
No, it has to be from the United States.
What happens with the interview if my husband is deployed?
You'll get scheduled when he comes back. Wait a second. I have to go back. If you're K1 in another country and pregnant, yes, of course you can.
Can you do the K1 visa if you're pregnant and the husband is from another country?
Yeah, but I thought the person was saying I wanted to do a K1 for another country. I'm like, no, you got to do it to come to the United States. So I misunderstood the question.
So what does this mean?
I don't know. They say we won anyway.
I'm like, so what does this mean?
They say we won anyway. All right. Everyone, give them a balloon.
Okay, Brass Squad, did we get it? I see Carol Anderson, the Tiger, and Dainty Brown saying congrats.
All right, so we did it. Carol says we did it. All right, comments of the day.
Let's do it.
Did like 95% of the way. I misunderstood. I realized you out there misunderstood.
All right, our first comment of the day. Jessica Leamy saying, Yo-Yo and the birds will always be funny. I just went to City Island with my friend last week, and he likes to throw all his fries to the seagulls.
Oh, and now they came ran.
He was like, one day you're going to have... I was like, you got to be crazy to ever... It looked like...
Do you know,
literally, it looked
I've
like
never
hell
been, I've
coming
never
to
been
Earth.
to the island. Everyone says it's so much fun.
It is.
I've never
It's
been
really
there in my
nice.
life.
Sit
Yeah.
right by the water.
Yeah. Well,
the birds are the worst part.
It's like a whole row of seafood restaurants, right?
Mm-hmm. And I love me
Yeah.
some crab legs.
Yeah.
All right. Second. Oh wait. That wasn't even all of it. It says JK. Wait, or is JK the name? Oh, okay. I thought it was saying, just kidding.
Next comment.
Next comment. JK saying, "Hey, Mr. Brad, you are the best. I have a question. Before you became a lawyer, were you an immigration officer?"
No, I was not.
Do people who are immigration officers usually become lawyers?
Sometimes.
Oh. Okay. Oh. All right. Our next comment of the day. Jay Rhymes. We haven't seen Jay Rhymes in a while with his Poetry Thursday. Tomorrow is It's Earth Day. I must say, choose sustainability, conserve water. Let's get our Earth back in order. Protecting our Earth starts with you. So on this Earth Day, squad, start anew.
I like everything he has to say. I don't know if I love the rhyming, but I love the content was very good. So 100% on the content. But did that even rhyme?
Let's try it again.
I think the content was there.
Tomorrow it's Earth Day. I must say.
Okay.
Choose sustainability, conserve water. Let's get our Earth back in order.
Order and water?
Okay.
Yeah.
Protected our Earth starts with you. So on this Earth Day, squad, start anew. I don't know.
The rhyming wasn't great, but I liked this content. Everything he's urging everyone to do was 100%.
I want to see a battle between him and the rapping Earth. All right, I call for it.
That would be great. We do a game with rapping Earth and Jay Rhymes.
There you go.
Yes,
versus. All right, and our last comment of the day. Rihanna out here saying, Brad knows all the tricks.
Wow.
Do you know all the tricks?
I don't, but I'm glad that you think I do. Thank you very much, all. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back all on Monday for Fuzzy Monday. Stay safe, stay well, enjoy, and keep smiling. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And visit us now at our Connecticut office, 221 Main Street, Suite 501, Hartford, Connecticut. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK, 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?